Welcome back. Today I actually want to talk about Gabbie Hanna, specifically defend Gabbie Hanna. I know a lot of people are going to be upset by the fact that I want to defend her, but I have opinions and I would hope you would at least watch the video all the way to the end and then maybe be upset, maybe change your mind, you never know, but I would hope you would keep an open mind and at least try to understand what I'm saying. And if at the end I haven't changed your mind, that's fine, I'm okay with that. I want to give a little bit of disclaimers before I start the video, so everything is clear. The first one is, though I don't think it really matters, but this video is not going to be filmed in one sitting. I'm going to film it in the span of a couple of days maybe. Usually, even if video of mine takes a lot of effort, I like to film in one sitting and then edit later on. But since this video is going to take me a lot of time, I am probably going to film like every chapter on its own in one day and then edit and then keep going for me to have like a more clear vision of what I want to do in the end. The second thing is this video is gonna basically show you that Gabbie Hanna was wronged in some situation, which means that I will still be talking about the situations where she was in the wrong, but just keep in mind that I am someone who actually likes Gabbie Hanna, so of course it's gonna maybe affect my judgment in some situations, so I would advise you to keep that in mind when you watch the videos. And if you want, I would encourage you to watch other videos of people who were more critical of her. Although, a lot of them actually have personal vendettas against her, so it actually affects their opinions as well. I think two videos are somewhat fair. Mainly, I'll link them down below. I like the Smokey video and I love Cruel World Happy Mind video. I think you should watch those. They're very in details and I think they give you a different perspective than mine. But I would encourage you to, whatever you watch, just watch it with a critical mind and don't just follow blindly, which you'll see in this video, like it happens quite a lot, weirdly enough. Lastly, I am aware that a lot of people hate Gabbie Hanna and think she's the most evil person in the world. I don't think so. Do I think she's perfect? No. But I think she's a good person to an extent. I think she's made a lot of mistakes. But I think she's paying a lot more than she deserves to pay for whatever she did. And I want you to know that this video will try to see her in a sympathetic light. This is the point of the video. Like, I am telling you straightforward. So I don't want to hear someone say like, oh, he's manipulating. Like, I'm not manipulating. I'm literally telling you right now what's gonna happen. This is what I want to do with this video. And if at the end of the video, you see her in a different light, and maybe you understand her more, and maybe you feel more sympathy towards her, or empathy, hopefully, that would be good. And if at the end of the video you still think she's a disgusting human who needs to like be the platform or something, that's okay too. Just know that this is what I'm trying to do. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, that's okay too. And you can comment whatever you want to comment, as long as it's respectful towards me and towards anyone who's mentioned in this video. Other than that, let's go. I'm a sitting duck. Take your aim, I don't give a fuck. The first drama I want to talk about is Gabbie Hanna versus RiceGum. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, why are you bringing this up? This was really long ago and it doesn't matter. No, I think this was the first drama Gabbie Hanna was ever in. And I think her treatment in that drama really reflects what I want to talk about. Basically, to give context to people who don't know what happened, RiceGum is weird. Like, RiceGum is literally someone who's known to like bully kids on YouTube. Like, he rose to fame by bullying children and calling them cringy. Like, so the bar for him is pretty low in this life. And he made a video, diss track, if you want to call it that, I guess, about Gabbie Hanna.
Don't think there's anything bigger than your nose. How to get so big, can you please tell us? Nose so long, big British jealous. Even Pinocchio said it's up, sir. Wait, is it Gabbie or the Fruit Loop?
And honestly, it's not even like funny or anything. It's just kind of mean and rude and like malicious for no reason. And it's okay, some people have different humors. I personally don't think it's funny. I don't even think it's particularly entertaining. But I guess 12-year-olds do, so what do I know? And as anyone, you wouldn't necessarily take this as a joke because it's not funny. He's literally just insulting your face. And she's been very open about how much she feels when people like make fun of her face.
That's not like something I've heard my whole fucking life. Like, it still hurts to be made fun of for your face. Whatever, fuck it.
Once at a party, she met him. He was there. She decided to like challenge him to a rap battle.
But honestly, if RiceGum ever wants to like live freestyle battle, like drop a beat right now, bitch, I'll murder you. Hey RiceGum, I just challenged you to a live battle on Snapchat. Would you do it?
No.
Live rap battle, why wouldn't you do it?
No, I don't want to do.
And then she said like, oh, your ghostwriter is not here.
Alright, so Rice doesn't have his ghostwriter today. It's fine. I think we can still battle. I think we're good. No? You don't want to do it?
He got really mad and then like fought her to get her phone and then broke it. at the party where like everyone was there. And at the time, she got really emotional and like made Snapchats right there and then, saying like he hit her.
RiceGum didn't think that joke was very funny, and he hit me in the middle of a party and shattered my phone. I can show you that in a sec. I'm standing out on the balcony so that it doesn't like make a scene, but like he literally like everyone was like, "Did he hit you?" And I was like, "Yeah, he did."
And then when she got home, she clarified that like no, he didn't hit her. He just like fought her for it and then smashed it.
Grabbed me, like twisted my arm and like held me down, and I have like those scratches like up here and on my wrist and arm. I don't want it to seem like he like punched me in the
Which is still really bad. Like it doesn't matter if he hit her or not. Like that's not the real issue. The real issue is that like he bullied someone online, and then when they confronted him in real life, he got upset and smashed their phone. People were like, "Oh, she's lying," even though he's literally telling you like he fought her for her phone, and then he took it and smashed it on the floor.
Her phone, she kind of holds on tight though, because it's her phone. So I kind of had to use two hands to throw it on the floor and run away.
I'm so confused. Like people were like, "Oh, at first he said he hit you, and he did not hit you," but that's not really the point. Like they took that point when she said he hit you, even though she clarified later on her own. But people really railed in that point because for them, like, "Oh, since he didn't hit you, we're gonna stay in this because we're right on this side, and then forget about everything else." And what people don't understand is that like online is very much about like public perception. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about public perception. RiceGum has like edgy teenage fans, so of course they're gonna stand with him, and they think it's cool because they're like they don't know how life works. So of course they think it's cool that, "Oh, he smashed her phone. He's so hype." And Gabbie, most people like, I'm not my opinion, but I think a lot of people think she's kind of annoying and exaggerative and so on and so on. So in a situation where they think she's annoying and his fans don't really care whatever he does, she was being annoying by confronting him and like making jokes. And sure, maybe it's a little bit obnoxious, kind of, yeah, but does it warrant like breaking someone's phone? No. And a lot of people stood with him. Like some people even said like, yeah, she deserved it.
I don't got beef with her, but I still think she's a fucking cunt. On that bitch. All she did was come in, and this bitch is shoving a camera in his face going, "Snapchat, Snapchat, Snapchat." If I was in a situation like that, and I have been in situations like that, I would have fucking grabbed the phone and smashed it as well.
And it is weird to me, like people at the time like really stood with him hard and were like, she deserves it, she's a bitch, and they were like insulting her and calling her names. Like 2015 internet was weird. Like YouTube in 2015, like before PC culture came in, I don't like PC culture that much, but to give it credit, like at least this kind of shit doesn't happen anymore. And when people now talk about Gabbie Hanna, like they say that she was wrong then, you see, because now I think the culture changed, so people really see it for what it is, and they do agree that like she was wrong in that situation, but they always go like, "Oh, she was wrong in that situation, but she's really annoying now," and it's like, what the fuck? Like at the time, people made fun of her for it, and now people were like, "Oh yeah, she was wrong then, but let me tell you now about all the list of things she was wrong in." Like, no, if you want to bring up the situation, just say, "That was really fucked up what happened to Gabbie Hanna," and end it at that. Why do you always keep bringing up like other stuff? Like, she was made fun of online when she confronted the guy. He smashed her phone and like publicly said that he smashed her phone, made a diss track about her later on that went on to make like 15 million views or something. And a lot of people stood with him and told her that she's a bitch and she's annoying and she's this and she's that. And now when we talk about it, we're like, "Oh, that was kind of fucked up." Like, no, that was really fucked up. And at the end of the day, we can't just ignore the fact that it happened. And it's okay if you don't like her, but it's still wrong. And if anyone brings up the situation, you don't just go like, "Yeah, it did suck what happened to her," but like, no, there's no but. It's just wrong, and then that's that on that.
At the end of the day, whether you think I'm annoying or dramatic or not, I wanted to speak up for myself in a situation that was wrong. In a situation where I was being bullied online and then assaulted in person when I confronted my bully online in real life. Like, that had real life repercussions for me. I would go to the Grove, which is like a shopping center here, and on like multiple occasions just had gaggles of teenage boys following me around, asking me about RiceGum and asking if my phone was broken and filming me and mocking me.
I think this is the first time where people realize that like, oh, like whatever happens to her, like it doesn't really matter. And you can say, well, no, it was a one-time thing. No, it was not a one-time thing. I will mention other situations where she was totally wronged by other people, and you're like, this is crazy. Like, how did people like see these situations and were like, Gabbie Hanna is a horrible person? Like, what the fuck? I was debating back and forth whether I was gonna even mention this topic because I think it's such a heavy topic, but at the same time, I think it's very much like a prime example of how the internet just like will stand against her no matter what. I want to talk about Gabbie Hanna exploiting a murdered teenager. I am gonna be careful with my words when I speak about this topic because at the same time, I don't necessarily want to discuss this because I think the family has been through a lot, but I think that this is such a public matter and people have made such a circus out of the situation that it would be weird not to mention it and at least give my input, because I think this is a situation where Gabbie Hanna was really wronged. And unlike the RiceGum situation where a lot of the people who wronged her like are not here anymore, like in the YouTube sphere, they're not as prevalent today, but the people who like wronged her in the Bianca Devins situations are very much going strong and they're still very popular and they're still thriving. And I am going to discuss the situation with you. I'm going to start with like what actually happened. Basically, people said Gabbie Hanna exploited a murdered teenager for attention. I will show you the clip.
With this age, this would be me.
100%.
For sure. This outfit right here is
You already wear.
straight up what I wore from 7th grade to college.
And now.
And now, I do have that shirt.
You're probably like waiting for the rest of the video, like where she exploits the teenager, but like, no, that's the clip. Like that's all of it. That's all she did. She was scrolling through an article that was called E-Boys and E-Girls Explained, and she was looking at pictures because she was doing a video called Trying to Look Like an E-Girl. And as she was walking through the article, she saw different pictures of different people. And then she saw this girl and she complimented her shirt. Very normal. And as she was someone who was trying to look at pictures because she wanted to see like inspiration, and the title of the article is not necessarily about someone dying, she didn't read the article and her editor didn't read it. So very likely, actually I am 99.99% sure that like it was an accident. It's pretty obviously an accident. Drama channels, when they saw this, they were like, oh, look, on the side, it's written that she died and you didn't even acknowledge it, exploiting a murdered teenager for attention. The thing is, like, Gabbie Hanna at that point had like 6 million subscribers on YouTube. She's pretty established as a YouTuber. She doesn't need like to like exploit a murder victim to get views. She's already famous. Like, I would believe it if someone had like 10 followers and did this. Like, it wouldn't be hard for me to believe that. But she's already very established as a YouTuber. Why would she do that? And like, this is when like people's perception of Gabbie Hanna will cloud their judgment because they called her a murder victim exploiter. That's what she did, and now she exploited a murder victim. Then the mother of the murder victim actually made a video on YouTube saying that actually she wasn't offended by Gabbie Hanna's video. She was offended by the drama channels who made all those videos exploiting their daughter.
Didn't see anything wrong with what she did. She Googled e-girl and pulled up a picture of Bianca.
Simple mistake.
It was a simple mistake. There was nothing disrespectful about it. We didn't feel disrespected. We don't feel Bianca would have been disrespected. We think Bianca would have been honored and so excited that Gabbie Hanna pulled up her picture and was talking about her. Gave her a compliment. You know, they had the same shirt. No one should be offended. No one should be. All these drama channels that are using Bianca for clout, it's absolutely ridiculous because that's all you're doing.
We are offended about, and you guys also should be.
Yeah.
Not about Gabbie Hanna complimenting her shirt.
Because what's funny is that when they were like, oh, Gabbie Hanna, you were scrolling through your video and like saw her picture and complimented her shirt and didn't acknowledge that she died. When they did that, they made videos using the daughter for clicks and attention and money and drama. And it's like weird. Like, it is weird. Like, the mom literally said that she's offended by them. Then Gabbie last year, when she addressed all of the drama she's been in, she talked about this. And she said that the mother doesn't necessarily want to be contacted by any of them. So, Angelica Oles, which, you know, Angelica Oles is a whole ordeal I will talk about. Like, that girl is wild. She took it upon herself to contact the mother. She was like, can I talk to you for a minute? Like, about, like, Gabbie Hanna, what she's saying? And then, as she talked to her, she was like, can I use this, like, for screenshots and receipts in my video?
When I spoke to her, I asked her if she was comfortable with me showing screenshots of bits of the conversation just to give context. And she said no, because she doesn't want this to then be receipts and drama, so for that to then be used further by other people.
Imagine going to like a murder victim's mother and being like, can I use this in my video? And then she was like, me and my friends never exploited your daughter. We are like the reasonable drama channels. And to that I say, Angelica Oles, like, who are your friends? The viewer's voice? You mean the viewer's voice, who literally said that, like, I don't think the mother is the real mother. I think it's an actor paid by Gabbie Hanna.
Nick Snyder has accused the family of not being genuine, possibly not being the real family, possibly being probably paid by me or whatever the fuck he was saying.
Is that the reasonable drama channel you're friends with? Okay. It is crazy to me that people think they were in the right in this situation. Like, the mother literally said, I stand with Gabbie Hanna. I think you guys should apologize to her. And they refused. They literally were like, nope, don't want to believe that. And Angelica was, after she contacted the mother and made the video, and in the video, like, she kind of omitted a lot of information. She was like, oh, the mother didn't want me to apologize. Which is true, but you know what the mother wanted? She wanted her to apologize to Gabbie Hanna.
She said, I didn't watch your video before, and I did now. And what I feel now is that you actually don't owe me an apology. You owe Gabbie Hanna an apology. It's so weird that Angelica left that part out, that Kim Devins literally told her that she feels I'm owed an apology for what she used her daughter's death for.
But I don't know why it was lost on her to mention that in her video when she made a video called Gabbie Hanna Lied to You. And what I love about, like, beefing with Gabbie Hanna is that you can literally say anything. You don't need to, like, prove it. No one cares. You can say anything about Gabbie Hanna and people will believe you because they just don't like her. And after Angelica was made the video and went to the mother and told her, like, this is why we don't like Gabbie Hanna.
I mentioned Jessi Smiles to her, not by name, just kind of mentioned how she's a victim of a crime and that Gabbie had been highly disrespectful to her, and that is what she's trying to deflect from.
The mother literally told you, like, I was offended by you and not Gabbie. Or even if she wasn't offended by you specifically, she said the drama channels in general, and she thinks Gabbie deserves an apology. You can either apologize to Gabbie or not, but don't pretend to care about the mother or the child. You just wanted clicks and attention, and that's just the reality of it, you see. And Angelica Oz is one of the people who really wanted Gabbie Hanna to apologize in the first place because she needs to apologize, but you don't.
Their response was to ignore her and silently disappear. Now, when I tried to blur my video, everybody said that I was hiding from it, refusing to take responsibility, but when the family directly said we're harmed by you, they tried to silently erase it from history.
And then after Angelica Oz made her video full of, I don't know what the fuck that was, the mother of the child tweeted publicly, whatever Gabbie Hanna says, I stand with her. Like, done. It's said and done. The mother agrees with Gabbie Hanna, and she stands with Gabbie Hanna. Why are people, like, adamant on Gabbie Hanna being a bad person? Like, she's the mother of the child. Can you just, like, let it go? When the mother tweeted that, people literally commented, oh, I think you're wrong. I think you don't get the right story. You're enabling Gabbie Hanna. You're doing this, you're doing that. Like, what the fuck is going on? You see, like, the mother of the child, who I would assume has the final word in this situation, and honestly, the only word in this situation, says Gabbie Hanna was not in the wrong. The drama channels are in the wrong. Cut and dry. She doesn't care about your apology, sure, but she thinks Gabbie Hanna was not in the wrong, and she thinks these people are the reason a lot of this happened, which is true, because at the end of the day, if they didn't make all those videos about Gabbie Hanna, none of this would have happened, because the mistake was a simple mistake. They didn't need to make videos about it. But they do make videos about it every single time, because whenever Gabbie Hanna does something stupid, like not even important at all, they will mention it because they know, like, she gets them attention. And I'll prove this to you by showing you some Angelica Oz videos. She made a video about Gabbie Hanna working out with her boyfriend. A video about Gabbie Hanna doing, like, couples workout with her boyfriend and calling it cringy.
She was at the gym with her boyfriend and she did that weird thing where they, like, sit on their boyfriend's lap while they're exercising. They're doing those, like, couples exercises, and a lot of people had a lot to say about it. I think it's just uncomfortable. I would hate to go to a gym and see people just, like, sitting on each other and humping each other while exercising. I'm just not here for it.
I don't get it. Like, you're supposed to be someone who holds people accountable. Sure, like, go on your righteous way. What about this? What is this for? Like, why are you making this video? What's the point? Recently, she made a video about Gabbie Hanna's new project is a mess. Even though, like, the video is literally like, oh, Gabbie Hanna, she made the concert, people had mean comments to say about it.
Hanna's now done her live show and it's not getting the best responses.
Don't be shy, show the 10 people in the audience. Someone said, don't be shy, show the audience. My drunk auntie at my cousin's wedding. People pay for this. And then not one note in key, you go girl. They definitely being paid to be there. They seem very confused. She thinks she's in a movie or something. Let it go, please. Why does it sound like that? What harmony is this? Like, what are the notes?
Honestly, when do the people not have something mean to say about it? And it's not lost on me that when I look at your past videos, Angelica Oles, your Gabbie Hanna video has the most views by far. So it's not really hard to understand why you talk about her all the time. And in this situation about the mother and the daughter who was murdered, if it was anyone else, you wouldn't have made the video. And that's just the fact of the matter. You are the reason all of this happened, not Gabbie. And if you refuse to believe that or to admit to that, that's fine. But just know that you're a pretty shitty person and you're pretty disgusting. And also, Gabbie Hanna has this poetry book that's known to be kind of like cringy. A lot of people don't like it. At the time when it was released, people actually very much enjoyed it. It got like pretty good reviews. Now that it's like really trendy to hate her, people really don't like her poetry. And that's okay. I think you're allowed to change your mind. I don't care what you like. I don't give a fuck. But like Gabbie Hanna got really hurt because people like made fun of something that she worked really hard on, which I get. And then people are like, well, if you post art, people are allowed to critique it, which I agree. Like people are allowed to not like your art. But when you get this clip of Angelica Oles saying this...
You've been here for a few videos now. We have made fun of Gabbie Hanna's poetry. I kind of wanted to make a whole video on that, but I feel like there's so many people that did it so well, and they are people that are actually interested in poetry and kind of know how it works, so they can give better commentary than me, possibly. But she did in one of the poems say, and I feel like there's a metaphor in this, almost now we use it as like a thing to make fun of.
She's literally saying like it's not about critiquing the art, like they want to make fun of it. Like they're literally saying it out loud, like we want to bully her is a... Like, you're saying you want to make fun of her, so you want to bully her. So it's not about like holding her accountable. You just think it's funny to make fun of her. And it's weird to me, like for someone that's like all about self-righteousness and calling people out and being a good person and so on and so forth. Why do you make fun of someone because you don't like them? Like, it's weird to me. Like, if we like someone, we'll defend them. And you care so much about all of these different social issues. And then when it comes to like Gabbie Hanna, because you don't like her as a person, you think it's okay to troll her and make fun of her? Even though she was like at a very low point in her life and she was very suicidal, and you still like choose to make fun of her publicly and say it like very proudly. It is very weird to me, all of this happened. Honestly, I was so confused when I see this. And I'll come out and say this. I've read some of her poetry. It's not the worst thing in the world. I think people are very nitpicky. I am not like someone who's very much into poetry. I tried to read it. Do I think it's particularly good? Not really, but I like it. Also, she's a great lyricist. Like, look at her music, it's really good. I think people need to like stop hating on her for no reason. There are some things she does that she deserves hate for, I agree. But I think people are taking it kind of like too far now, because they make fun of everything she does. Like, nothing she does will be considered good. Like, they look at like objectively amazing songs and they're like, this is garbage, she sounds horrible, she's in this, she's that. Like, girl, like, get a grip. Like, get a fucking grip on your life. Like, if you don't like her, like, I'm okay with that. You don't have to like her. But why are you, like, hitting on her daily? Why are you leaving, like, comments every day? Why are you, like, going to her videos to dislike it? For me, like, if I don't like someone, I just don't watch them. Like, why are you, like, following up with her videos and, like, leaving her hate comments every day? Just leave her alone. Like, and these drama channels, like, why do you keep making videos about her? Especially lately, I think she's been, like, kind of, like, away from, like, the public eye to an extent, and she hasn't really, like, responded to anything, and she's not really doing anything, and you keep, like, making videos about her. Like, just leave her alone. Like, honestly, like, if you truly just care about the situations, and just care about the people, and being a good person, if that's the truth, then leave her alone. Just do that.
Shut me up! Shut me up! You'll never hear from me again.
Okay, so this drama, honestly, I'm already frustrated and bored. I think this is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my entire life. But since it's one of the instances where Gabbie Hanna was wronged, I guess we have to talk about it, sadly. Basically, Gabbie Hanna has beef with Trisha Paytas. I will try to simplify it as much as I can and abbreviate because I'm already bored. So, Gabbie Hanna is friends with Jason Nash. Jason Nash told her that he's sleeping with Trisha Paytas. Gabbie told Jason that Shane told Gabbie that Trisha has herpes. So she told him like, hey, I heard she has an STD. I don't know if it's true, just ask her about it. Seems reasonable enough. I would do the same if I knew someone possibly had an STD and my friend was sleeping with them, I would tell my friend like, hey, maybe I heard they have an STD, talk to them about it. Seems very reasonable. At the same time, like if I told my friend that someone possibly has an STD, and even if they do or they don't, if they don't like me afterwards, I am okay with that because I took the risk of telling my friend, and the person might take it personally and not like me. I'm okay with that. And people have said this about Gabbie, like she's obsessed with people liking her, like she's allowed not to like you about this. But that's not really the issue. It's not like Trisha Paytas didn't like her anymore and then that's it. The actual problem is that Trisha Paytas would literally like walk around like talking shit about Gabbie to everyone and like telling them she's a disgusting human. And I think there's a difference between someone like not liking you and someone spreading rumors about you afterwards. One of them is totally reasonable and logical. One of them is a bit of a stretch. I still think that even the fact that Trisha like went behind her back and talked shit about her should still just like let it go and move on. But sometimes I think after like someone doing something relentlessly, you're bound to like react. So I don't necessarily blame her. I just think she should have just let it go. Gabbie, when she had finally like a breaking point and fought with Trisha in the messages, decided to share a poll where she was like, hey, like if you were in this kind of situation, what would you do?
I have a genuine question that I want to ask the general public. If somebody tells you that somebody has an STD, an incurable STD, it comes from a close friend of theirs, a source, and then you find out that a friend of yours is sleeping with them, is it wrong of you to say, hey, just so you know, I've heard this, don't know if it's true, but this person told me, talk to them about it, ask about it?
Trisha knows that the stories are about her. No one knows, but Trisha does. So Trisha decided to make a very public video about Gabbie Hanna and the whole situation. And when Trisha Paytas does something, she will make several videos about you on the span of several months or years. Like, she will never stop because she gets money off of it, and it's not like it's going to ruin her reputation since she has no reputation. And that's what she did. And what's crazy is that like Gabbie made the stories, but she didn't mention Trisha publicly. Trisha made it public that it was her, which is fine. I think she was allowed to react in the first place. Because if someone made stories about you, even if you're the only one who knows that it's about you, you're bound to get annoyed and want to react. But at the same time, Trisha later on lied, because she always lies. And she said, actually, she mentioned me publicly.
You are so scary delusional. The fact that you don't think you started any drama, there's all your Instagram story of you starting the drama by sharing my name in them. You are scary delusional. Get off the internet, stop talking and get some help.
And when Gabbie Hanna was like, actually no, I didn't mention you publicly, like you made it public, not me, like you said it was about you, I didn't say anything. When she said that, people are like, well, it doesn't matter, you made the stories.
You can't say that you never take things to the internet when that is literally what you did. You were having a behind the scenes disagreement and you are the one that brought it to the internet. Even if you didn't say, oh, what would you do if you thought Trisha Paytas had herpes? And even though you didn't say her name, you alluded to it and Trisha knew what you were talking about, and that's why she made her video. To imply that you did nothing before posting those screenshots and you did nothing to instigate that situation is frankly just dishonest.
So you're literally like, Trisha is lying, and you're like, well, it doesn't matter if she's lying, you're still in the wrong. Like, and then like, fine, you can stand with Trisha in this situation, I really don't care. What was weird to me is that Trisha did her like scary thing. Like, Trisha Paytas has said she's had 24-hour security about like 5 different people. She's scared of them and she's scared for her life. Trisha Paytas is the most dramatic person in the world. And in her video, she's like,
she's literally saying, be scared of someone with nothing to lose, and she has nothing to lose. She will end up hurting somebody or herself. This is the darkest thing I've ever seen.
And you think that's dark? Have you seen your pictures doing blackface? The thing is that like, she's scared of her and she's worried she's gonna kill her. And then she goes on to like, make fun of her and her mental breakdown.
Number one person you should be afraid of is somebody who has nothing to lose. And you guys took so much from me. And I have nothing to lose. So.
You. All of these people for what they've done to me. And for them to be tweeting right now, I'm playing the victim. I am the victim. You have abused me and lied. And I'm telling you guys again, there's a fraction that you guys know because I don't show it.
It's literally them, and that is what toxic, abusive people do. They'll deflect onto you as hard as they can. Point the finger, pull the trigger, throw them off your trail. You'll get yours eventually.
If I was scared of someone and needed like 53-year security, I wouldn't necessarily like make videos and like reels and TikToks and stories like making fun of them. So it's clear that she's playing it up. And then when she makes fun of her after having like a public mental breakdown and reaching the level where she might like kill herself.
Oh my God. People hate me. People really think I'm a rape apologist. People really think that I exploited a murdered teenager. People really think I'm a scam artist. People really think that I'm all of these things. And you're like, you want to kill yourself because there's no escape. It's like, I can't escape these rumors, and like the one thing I love, like the one thing that like I thought was gonna save me, my one escape, that one thing is being taken from me.
People are okay with that and they don't really care, and they still think she was in the right in that situation. It is pretty weird to me. I still think that where Gabbie was wrong was when she made the story. She shouldn't have. I get it, she was upset and all. She still didn't make her name public, but she really just should have left it alone. Trisha Paytas is not someone you need to engage with. But at the same time, like, Trisha Paytas made it public, said horrible things about Gabbie Hanna.
So far you've attacked my boyfriend, my best friend, and my fans. Why? Why? When have I ever done anything like this to her? I'm the evil, toxic person in this situation? Like, what the fuck, dude? When have I ever done anything like this?
And then went later on to make fun of her mental breakdown and to troll her repeatedly. And then whenever like Gabbie Hanna would respond after multiple times Trisha Paytas making fun of her, she would make like the whole videos crying in the kitchen floor again.
You have always been scary delusional to me. You were so scary to me, beyond scary. In fact, this girl's scary delusional. It is at this point that it's scary delusional. Gabbie, you are scary. I am so scared of you. You are scary and dangerous.
And people still stood with her. Like, fine, you can think that Gabbie Hanna was wrong initially, but after everything Trisha Paytas did, how can you like still think she was in the right and Gabbie was in the wrong? And I think considering at the time Trisha Paytas was still with frenemies, so public perception was very much in her favor, I get why maybe some people stood with her. Because that's how you know that these situations are not about like who's right and who's wrong. It's mostly about public perception, mostly about public opinion about you as a person. They really don't care about the situations. They care about the people themselves. Gabbie Hanna is worse than Trisha Paytas in the public's eye. So we're gonna send Trisha Paytas no matter what happens. Hi, so quick pause. Basically, the footage you've seen so far has been filmed like 2 weeks ago, I would say. And then my phone broke, so I couldn't film, and then I got sick, and I was like very busy with other stuff. So here we are now. I think that this forced break was pretty good for me because I think the filming process started to get like pretty overwhelming in the first place. So I don't really mind it. And I think it gave me the chance to like edit what I already filmed and look at it and see like maybe things I want to like change up a little, or like, you see. So I'm not mad at it. What sucks is that like I can't really go back to the old like videos and like just like change stuff up or add new things because I got a haircut. So I can't just be like pop in with a different hair and be like pretend like it's the same thing. But at the very least, like, I think what's gonna come next is gonna be very interesting. So I hope you've been enjoying the video so far. I'm sure it's gonna be pretty long. I am crossing my fingers to not be over an hour long. I'm really doing my best for it not to be an hour long. But yeah, I hope you've been enjoying it so far. I hope I've made some good points. I hope you're entertained. And leave whatever you want to leave down below. Please be respectful of me, Gabbie Hanna, and anyone mentioned. Just watch and have an opinion, but like don't be rude to anyone. Alright, deuces. Okay, so this one I really don't want to talk about it. I'm gonna explain the situation so people don't think I'm like shying away from it or anything, because there's this narrative that's like, if I didn't mention it, it's gonna be like, oh, he's manipulating you because he's not bringing up like what Gabbie Hanna did wrong. And I didn't want to mention it in the beginning because people would be like, oh, he mentioned it in the beginning so he could deflect from it later on. So I tried my best to like keep it towards the end. So that's why it's here. Basically, Jessi Smiles and Gabbie Hanna used to be friends. Before they were friends, Jessi Smiles was sexually assaulted by this guy, and Gabbie Hanna, she didn't know her at the time. I don't think she was even famous at the time. She was like tweeting like mean stuff about her, like, yeah, she's lying and stuff and all. And then they met, Gabbie apologized, they became friends. Later on, they stopped being friends. Gabbie Hanna interacted with Jessi's rapist. I think since they were friends and then they stopped being friends, she shouldn't have interacted with her rapist. I don't think you should interact with the rapist anyways, but since you were friends, it's like a double layer of fucked up that you shouldn't do. And I don't necessarily think like she's a rape apologist for it, because people use words that mean nothing at this point. Like, here's the definition of a rape apologist. I don't think she's a rape apologist, but I do think that she shouldn't have interacted with him. And then she later on went on to like lie about the fact that they interacted.
In fact, one time I was at an event, an influencer event, and he happened to be there, and he tried to take a Snapchat selfie with me, and I told him to delete it right now because I did not want to be associated with him. I have zero association with Curtis Lepore. I think I only saw him like 2 or 3 times. One was at an event in Hollywood. That's where he was like, hey, Gabbie Show, can I get a pic? And took those pictures. And then afterwards, the same night, everybody from the event went to the diner across the street. And then he was taking pictures of Zayn and I, like implying that he was there with us.
And then when it was exposed, she defended herself for interacting with him.
I also listen to Curtis because he's a human being. And just like in real court, in the court of public opinion, if you're gonna judge and condemn somebody, you should at least hear them out.
So it was a whole lot of like pretty messy behavior from her part. And I don't necessarily want to like drag this too long, because I think Jessi's been through a lot. She recently moved to a new house. She has her second kid. I don't want to like, I don't want to like bring too much about this, but just know like this is what happened. I am not downplaying it, at least to the best of my ability. I am telling you the facts that actually happened. And obviously, like, I encourage you to like see other videos about it. I encourage you to see Jessi's videos about it. She makes really good points, and her videos are great. She's straight to the point. It's really interesting. If you want to like look at her videos, I think she'll give you like a really good perspective. And yeah, I am not gonna defend it like, because there's nothing to defend here. Like, it was just wrong. I do think like if she just like apologized in the first place, be like, yeah, I interacted with him and like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have, and just moved on, she would have gotten backlash, but I don't think it would have been this bad. Because now like this kind of like the slam dunk when you talk about Gabbie Hanna, like she interacted with her. No, they don't say she interacted with her rapist. She's a rape apologist. And mind you, I'll say this, like, I'm not defending Gabbie Hanna, but I'll say this. A lot of people interacted with him at the time, and a lot of people, like, support him to this day. Like, actually, like, really famous people. He's doing his thing on Instagram. Like, people comment on his posts on Instagram. Like, people with, like, 20, 30 million followers on Instagram comment. If you're a drama channel who really focused on that and really care about that thing, I think you should care about the guy and the fact that he has an pretty okay career. Like, he's doing fine for himself on Instagram. So I'm confused, like, the girl who interacted with him, like, killed her career. The guy who actually did it, like, well, he's doing his thing, who cares? It's kind of like weird. I'm not defending anyone here. I just think you should really keep the same energy for everyone, because if anything, he's the one who doesn't necessarily deserve a career, you see? Like, her, I don't think like this is like a cancelable offense. I think if you just apologize and learn why you shouldn't do that, like, it's okay. But this is just me. I choose to like forgive. If you don't, it's okay. Actually, like, for this topic specifically, I kind of like unfollowed her for a while because I used to follow them both, and I really like Jessi. She's even married to an Algerian guy, so that makes me even like her even more. But after this happened, like, I kind of unfollowed Gabbie Hanna for a while, and then like a year or two later, I kind of just like cycled back to like following her. And I think what I'm going to mention later on is going to explain why I personally like Gabbie Hanna and why I personally choose to support her and watch her. And I'm not necessarily saying we all need to or we all have to. Like, it's okay. I just want to show you maybe a different point of view that you haven't thought of. And at the same time, like, I encourage anyone to, even if you don't want to support her, just like, maybe just leave her hate. Maybe just like, don't do that easy. Like, just like, leave her alone. Okay, this one, funny enough, I think this is like the catalyst for like all the drama that happened. I remember this because like, I remember when it happened, a lot of people had a lot to say about it. Basically, Gabbie Hanna promoted like this makeup brush thing. I'm bored, I don't care. Like, she promoted this makeup brush thing, and she was like, yeah, you should like buy it. It's good. It's like $90, but you can get it for free.
Today I am partnering with Kenza Cosmetics, and they are doing a promotion right now where all of their makeup brushes are free. All you have to do is pay the shipping. I'm obsessed with so many of them, and they're really high quality brushes, and literally all you have to do is pay shipping. So swipe up to check them out. Shout out Kenza Cosmetics.
And I can't even find like the video where Gabbie Hanna promoted it, because at the time people didn't care that Gabbie Hanna promoted it. They cared more about Tana Mojo, so you can find her video promoting it. And like, Tana Mojo has like scammed people every year. Like, every year she scammed people. She did like her Tanacon thing where people could have died. And like, she's okay, she's doing her career. People talk about her in a favorable light. But like, Gabbie Hanna like promoted it, and she did the thing you should never do. She doubled down on it. She was like, well, maybe you should manage your expectations.
And I'm genuinely sorry if anybody got their product and was disappointed in the product, but I would also add, manage your expectations a little bit.
Basically, when people bought the brushes, they weren't like $90 brushes as she claimed they were. They were actually pretty shitty brushes. Like when you pay for shipping, if you paid like $10 for shipping, for example, you're gonna get like, yeah, $10 brushes, sounds fair enough. So in Gabbie Hanna's mind, she was like, well, it's a fair deal, fair enough. And then when people got them and they were like, well, these are not $90 brushes, she was like, you should manage your expectations. But it's like, I understand that it's a marketing technique, but it's like, you told them they're $90 brushes. Like, it's not about them, like, managing their expectations. Like, you said it. You said, hey, they are $90. So, like, I understand that it's a marketing thing, but, like, keep in mind that, like, you shouldn't really do that, you see. I don't think this is something you should be, like, cancelled for, but I don't think it's something you should do either, you see. Like, especially, like, when you get called out, like, you don't double down on it. You just say, yeah, I'm sorry, and just, like, move on. What's funny though is that Tana Mojo didn't even respond to this. He was just like, oh, whatever. Like, because on to my next scam. But then Gabbie Hanna, I can tell that like, she's not like a scammer or someone who really wanted to scam her fans. Like, I'm sure like when she tried them on, she genuinely was like, you know what, this is a pretty good product, because she's never scammed before, nor has she ever scammed after. So I don't really understand like this narrative of her being a scammer when it comes to this. I don't think she is. I don't think you should think she is. But at the same time, like, you do you. I think you should analyze situations and think however you want to think. I don't think so. And that's just that. These are, I think, the two controversies that I think she was like really in the wrong. There are some other stuff that I don't think are worth my time or your time. Also, like, this is a side note. I'm not gonna make a full like chapter about this. She had like a fight with like Joey Graceffa and his ex-boyfriend, I don't remember his name. They had like a fight about like Escape the Night and all, and Joey Graceffa like made the video about her. He was right in his video, but what's hilarious is that when Angelica also made her video about like, you know, like the deceased child and the mother and all, he commented this. And this is like from a meme that like Tana Mojo said like that one time.
I mean, you know, I'm being sorry about that. It's not my beef, but you know, we team Bryce out here. That's right. Even the paparazzi team Bryce. Oh God.
It's like, tell me you're a white guy with no personality without telling me you're a white guy with no personality. Also, like, how insensitive to comment this kind of shit in like a very serious video. But like, you know, Gabbie Hanna is the really inappropriate one. Like, if she commented this kind of shit in a video, she would get obliterated online. While he commented that Angelica was liked it, and people were like, yeah, sounds fair. So, just so you can have an idea of like the really weird double standard we're working with here.
I got people blaming me for shit they did to me. Lots of people shaming me for shit they didn't see.
I think there's this like common narrative that Gabbie Hanna is like manipulative and gaslighting and so on, but I don't really think that's true. If anything, I think that she doesn't really know how to adequately defend herself in a lot of situations. So I really don't understand where that kind of thing came from. But what people do is that whenever she defends herself and maybe use an argument, they're like, oh, you're being manipulative. But I don't think that makes any sense. Like, what are you supposed to do if you're criticized? You either don't defend yourself, so you're like running away from the problem, or you defend yourself, so you're being manipulative. So I think she's being kept in this like trap where it's like wherever she goes, she loses with these people. But what's funny is that if anything, I think it's the other way around. I think that Gabbie Hanna is being like gaslighted on a global scale on the internet. And I will explain what I'm talking about. I'll preface this part with saying this. I think that my opinion on Gabbie Hanna, and especially this kind of situation, is heavily affected by my personal experiences. I had like a big mental breakdown last summer. I don't necessarily want to go like too in-depth about it, but just know like that happened. And what happened afterwards is that I ended up like feeling like a lot of like strong dissociation in my life. Like, if you're someone who's never experienced this kind of thing, I don't know how I can explain it to you. But basically that happened, and I ended up like moving countries when it was happening, so it got even worse. And now I'm feeling better, thank God. But at the time, when I was like feeling extremely dissociated, I had like this like strong feeling of like, what is real anymore? You see, like, is my life real? Are the people in front of me real? And it's like, you start to feel like kind of crazy and kind of insane, and it's just a whole lot. And my personal belief is that like Gabbie Hanna, when everything happened, went through like a similar experience. I am not like a therapist, I'm an engineer, I don't know anything about this. So like, don't take my word for it. It's just that like, I felt through what she said, like I related to it. And basically at the time when I was going through like my crazy moment, it was already hard. It was really, really hard. So I can imagine if it was like, if added to that, like thousands of people were commenting to me that I am crazy, that I am lying, that I am delusional, I don't know if I would be alive today. Like, not to be dramatic, but I doubt I would be alive today, see? So when I see someone who's maybe going through the same thing I was going through, and then people like telling her she's crazy and she's insane and so on, like, it's kind of hard to watch. And I think it's pretty easy to prove when you look at this kind of clips when Trisha Paytas is calling her crazy. You can see how like she's taken aback by the reaction.
Scared. Your biggest fear in life is not knowing that you're crazy. This is your sign to get off the internet and get help, because you have been so delusional with so many people.
What an incredibly toxic, malicious thing to say to somebody. I'm really happy that I didn't watch this shit then.
Wow, this girl's like at the point of breaking, or she's breaking and she's not getting help. And you're two yes people around you that should be telling you, hey, step.
So she's acknowledging that she knows my mental health is fragile and I'm at the point of breaking, and she's saying, this is your sign, you're crazy. What a fucking sociopathic fucking person.
Get help, Gabbie.
That's disgusting. Yeah. Had I actually seen that, I wouldn't have had her on my podcast. Yeah, I had no idea it was like that. Like, I had an idea, but like, I've never seen that. That's a sick fucking person. My heart is fucking racing right now. Like,
and how she says like she's glad she didn't watch it at the time when she was going through her breakdown, because I think that if you're like a normal person, when someone calls you crazy, you're like, oh, whatever, they call me crazy. But I think that when you're going through like a mental breakdown and someone calls you crazy and insane, I think it really fucks with you mentally, because you overthink it and you start to be like, oh my god, like, am I really crazy? And there's also an example like that one time when she was doing the podcast where she was like, these are bullies, these are high school bullies, that one.
these are bullies. These are high school fucking bullies.
People in the comments were like, oh my god, her boyfriend and her best friend clearly hate her. They don't want to be there. They don't like her. They're so over it. And first of all, like, if I had the mental breakdown and did a podcast, my friends would be there for me, because that's what friends do, you see. It sucks that you clearly don't have any friends that want to be with you and hang out with you. And I can see why they don't. But like, I don't find it crazy that like she had the mental breakdown and she was making a podcast and her boyfriend and her best friend wanted to be there with her. Like, that is pretty natural and reasonable. But I think when you're going through a lot and people are like, thousands upon thousands are telling you like, nope, they hate you, they don't want to be with you, they don't care for you, they're so over it, they feel forced, they're yes men. Like, all of these different things are being told to you about the people around you. And it's like thousands upon thousands of people are saying this to you. You start to question like, am I just not seeing it? Like, am I being crazy right now, you see? And it's a whole lot of different emotions to get over, you see. So for me, I don't think that Gabbie Hanna is gaslighting anyone. If anything, I think that Gabbie Hanna was being gaslighted for like months. And it's just really sad to watch, because as someone who like struggled the same thing as her, I would like to think that like, if anything ever happened to me like this publicly, people would be more supportive than this, you see. But when you see people who are like, we care about mental health, but then it's like, no, we care about mental health, but not the mental health of people we don't like. It's like, no, like, mental health is mental health. Like, I don't think, whatever you think she did, even if you think she was wrong in all of the situations she was in, I don't think like she deserves to like die for it. And if you see that someone is on the brink of suicide, like, why would you do that to them? You see what I mean? Like, why would you think it's okay to leave this kind of comments for her? Like, I understand that maybe she's not the most easy to like feel sorry for, I guess, or compassion for. But at the end of the day, like, she's a human being just like me, just like you, and I don't think she deserves this kind of thing happening to her.
I'll be your ghost, or I'll be your best friend. Just need to know you're happy in the end.
I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, I don't care about the repercussions of what happened to her because it's her fault. And to that I say, like, sure, I think that's somewhat of a valid opinion. If you think that she was wrong in all of the situations, you're like, well, I don't care. But at the same time, I don't think that whatever's happening to her is like proportionate to whatever like she did. Even if you think she did all of the things people claim she did, I don't think whatever happened to her is proportionate to that. Because when you see her talk about like all the death threats she received and how like she can't drive anymore, or she couldn't drive for a while because she was scared people were like fucked with her brakes, or when she talks about when a hoax was made that she was found dead in her home.
Like when you're waking up to like all these, like all of my Instagram tags being like articles that I was, fuck dude, why is this so hard? Like just this. Waking up to articles that you were found dead in your home. Like I'm so open about like how suicidal I've been. So like seeing articles like it's just weird. Like it's uncomfortable. It's like fucking sinister.
Or when she talks about like all those like different memes people make of like killing her, or maybe like her just like being hated by everyone.
Even just the memes where it's like those like future cities and it's like society once Gabbie leaves and society once we kill off Gabbie Hanna. Like that shit. The number of times I've fantasized about all of the ways in which my death would benefit others, like that's like a really dark, triggering thing for me to see that. And like I know that like kids on Twitter are just being mean, but it's like weird because like if somebody was that cruel in person to like joke about people killing themselves, you'd be like, wow, what a toxic, horrible person that is. I never want to be friends with that person. And then when people do it online, it's like, yes, go queen, expose. Like, no, dude, like it's fucking toxic.
I don't think you can say that this is a fair repercussion of everything that she did, because I think now we're reaching like too much territory. And even to this day, like you will see her like, and you can see her like visibly really, really distraught and like,
and you're like, you want to kill yourself because there's no escape. It's like, I can't escape these rumors, and like the one thing I love, like the one thing that like I thought was gonna save me, my one escape, that one thing is being taken from me.
You don't even know like if she's gonna be okay, and you find comments that are like, well, she's so privileged, and I'll show you like some comments, so you don't say like I'm just like making this up. And when you see the TikTok she posts lately, and you see all like these comments calling her crazy, making these jokes about her, and like they get like tens of thousands of likes, so it's not like an unpopular opinion to hate her. Like it's not that hard to find main comments about Gabbie Hanna. And like, how's this okay? Like, how are we as a society who's supposed to be like so evolved and so woke, like how are we okay with this? Like how is this in any way okay? Especially from the people you find that hate her, all the ones that are like preaching for acceptance and love. Like it's okay if you don't like her and you don't want to support her, but I don't think it's okay to like leave her like daily hate comments. Like get a job or something, honestly.
When I die, remember me like this. Cross my heart and hope to die. I'm all in bones and flesh, just like you said. I'm no monster.
The video is almost done, thank fucking God. I'm so tired. So I would like to now, I guess, give my final thoughts and maybe what I hope for the outcome from this video to be. I think that overall Gabbie Hanna is not like an amazing person, but I don't think she's a bad person either. Overall, she's just like human, and she will learn from her mistakes, and I think she learned from a lot of those mistakes already. I think that people should just like move on, you see. I think a lot of people who were in the dramas themselves moved on, and I think so should you. This thing that people do that make those videos about her that are like, well, the consumers need to be aware who they're supporting. And I agree, I think you should know like the companies and the people you're supporting, what they did wrong. And if you're not okay with that kind of behavior, you can choose to not support them. You see what I mean? I agree with that statement. But there's a difference between like bringing awareness to people so they know who they're supporting versus like bringing awareness to people, and then when the people are like, okay, I don't care, I still want to support her, you're like, oh my god, so you're okay with this and that and that. It's like, just because I listen to Gabbie Hanna's music doesn't mean like I am okay with being a rape apologist or I am a rape apologist. I just choose to forgive her. I think people like overstepped their boundaries. Like, thank you for letting me know everything that happened and everything that she did, but now it's me time and it's for me to make the decision. Like, morality is pretty subjective. I don't think there's like one morality that we need to all follow. This is not a cult or a religion, you see. I think morality is pretty personal to you and to your biases and to your experiences, and I am someone who chooses to forgive Gabbie Hanna. Doesn't mean I'm gonna walk around and be like, oh, so you don't forgive her, and I'm gonna start to like bitch and moan to people. I think that people need to know whatever is happening with someone, and they can make their own decisions. But I think you should stop like bullying people who still listen to her, or like shaming them for putting her in their playlist. Just like move on, like get a job or something. You see what I mean? It's like, truly, like, just like get a hobby, like, I don't know, like get something going. Like, you're clearly like not doing well, so like get something going. So I hope that from this video, if you watch this video fully, which I don't know how many people will actually end up watching it fully, but if you did, I hope that this gave you like a more balanced and realistic point of view of Gabbie Hanna. Of course, I am someone who likes her, so I'm sure some of my biases creeped in here and there. And I feel like looking back, I was kind of a little bit harsh on Miss Alls. I don't hate her, like, but I think I was, you know, a bit tough on her. But I think overall everything I said was still fair criticism, and I don't think I was like calling her names or doing anything. I'm not sorry about Trisha Paytas, by the way, I don't care. So I hope you can leave this video feeling that you have much more understanding of Gabbie Hanna as a person and maybe be kinder in life. I don't know. Anyways, this was a very hard video to make. I still had a lot of fun making it though. I really enjoyed myself. I hope you liked the video. If you did, like, comment, and like those stuff. If you didn't, it's okay. Don't leave a hate comment and don't dislike. Just go away. Alright, deuces.